Hi Shogi fans, this is another lesson on oblique climbing silver. Now I believe you guys are already familiar with this position. This position is white to move. Black has just dropped his bishop to 7g. And in the last video we took a look at bishop drop to 5d. And what we're going to do in this video is we're going to see pawn to 6e. Also a very good and deliberate move at this position. So if you're playing black, you'll have to know how to reply to this move too. Now let me start by explaining the meaning of this move. Now what this means is basically it makes this square 6d available for his bishop drop in the next move, which is really a nice square from which he can attack the rook. Now here in Jouseki, black just goes ahead in the second file, so pawn to 2d. But here, as I've said, white will drop the bishop to 6d, attacking the rook. Now, in this video, let's take a look at the primary line first. Now, the rook floats up to 2f, and white doesn't have time to take the lance here, because pawn promotion to 2c will be stronger. So, he'll just take back the pawn, so silver goes ahead to 2d. But here, white has a really cool move. He doesn't accept the silver exchange, and instead he moves that silver to 4d, declining the silver trade. Alright, now this is where black has several candidate moves. Let's start by taking a look at the most likely one, the main joseki. It's pawn drop to 2b, attacking the knight. So now white promotes that bishop to 1i, taking the lance. So black takes the knight, and here white has several options. One option that seems to be pretty good is to push the 6th file pawn to 6f, making the best use of that pawn push. So black will take it with the bishop in order to keep his bishop's influence on the opponent's camp. But here, white drops a lance to 6b, attacking the bishop. Now the bishop has to go back to say 7g, and here white drops a pawn to 6f again, blocking the bishop this time, and also trying to harass the king. And now black can't take it with the bishop, so he has to take it with a pawn, and now his bishop's diagonal is blocked. You see, even if black opens the bishop diagonal again, white can make this nice dangling pawn, and black just can't take it, right? And also this lance is preventing this future threat by black's knight drop to 6d. So this lance drop is a very good one. And after this, maybe white will keep attacking by, say, pawn to 6f, for instance, and white can do pretty good here. So maybe black has a better way. How about when white drops the lance, how about drawing back the bishop to this way, aiming at this edge, the 9th file, which is Mino Castle's weak point, and make an edge attack later. Or maybe he can try dangling pawn to 3d. I'm not sure which is better here. I think it's an equal position. And also, other than pushing the pawn to 6f here, actually white can also push the 4th file pawn here. If you're good enough, you might think this is not a very good move because this pawn is blocking the horse's diagonal, so black can make this fork immediately. But well, actually black can't do this because this pawn promotion is stronger. Knight can take the silver but just be recaptured by the gold, and black is in big trouble. He can't take it with the silver, so has to take it with the gold. But maybe lance drop to 4e, and black is losing here. So when white pushed the 4th file pawn, black basically has to take it. So maybe horse will just take it immediately, moving itself to a very nice square. Now I think black will try silver promotion to here, or dangling pawn again. I'm not sure. Maybe it's a difficult situation to evaluate. Alright, and by the way, when white pushed the fourth file pawn, black can also take this pawn on 3f by the rook. Well, but maybe this is not very good. White takes the pawn on 4g, silver takes it, but white can make this good. Pawn sack to 4f, and after silver took it, now the horse can take the knight, and if rook promotes to 3a, white has a fabulous attack. Knight sack to 6f, forking the king and the gold. After pawn took it, horse takes the pawn on 5f, forking the king and the silver. And white is winning here. Alright, now we've seen the main line, so let's get back to the position where black has a lot of option to play. It's here. Instead of pawn drop to 2b, what else can black do? Well, one thing is to just take the pawn. Well, in this case, bishop will promote and the rook will promote too. And I couldn't find any detailed material on how the moves proceed after this. I'm not sure, but it looks a bit better for white. And also, what else can black do? He also has this interesting move, 0 to 2c on promote. And the meaning of this move is, this 0 is in the way of rook. So what he wants to do is, he wants to promote this 0 to here in the next move and allow his rook to promote. But after black played 0 to 2c, white has a strong move. Go to 4c, protecting a 3d square, and silver can keep going to 2b, promote, but it doesn't look too good. The silver is really heavy. So what else? Oh, black can also try to sacrifice his silver, but this is too much to do. Although black can take the knight, but obviously white is better here. And finally, I'm gonna show you a pretty good one. I mean, I have already mentioned this tactic earlier. It's pawn drop to 3d, a dangling pawn. Well, this move is pretty good. But here, once again, the gold comes up to 4c. But in this case, now black can try this silver sack again. Because now the situation is a bit different. The gold has moved to 4c. So after black took the knight, let's say white moved the silver back to 4d, trying to prevent this pawn promotion. Now black has a good way to use that knight he just got. It's knight drop to 5e, attacking the gold and blocking the bishop at the same time. Yeah, it looks pretty good, but actually white can just take it with the silver, pawn recaptures, and then he has a good move here. Pawn push to 6f. Well, white always has this tactic in this pawn to 6e variation. After black took it by the bishop, white drops that knight on 7d, attacking the bishop, and if the bishop draws back, yes, white can block the bishop, and bishop can take the pawn on 5e. Well, it doesn't look so bad for white. It's a pretty difficult situation. Okay, now finally, let's go back a little bit more. I want to show you some other variation. I'm gonna go back to the position where white dropped the bishop here. The joseki move here was rook to 2f, but let's see what happens after black just tried to block the bishop by pushing the 5th file pawn. It looks like a natural move. Well, in this case, white will have to just take the pawn on 2d. Black silver takes it, but right. Once again, white silver declines the trade. But here, black again tried this powerful sacrifice. Because once again, taking knight makes an interesting threat to white. That is, dropping the knight to 5f in the next move, which technically captures that bishop. The bishop has nowhere to go. But here, white has a good countermeasure. Well, again, it's this pawn push to 6f. There's always this tactic. Now after bishop took it, white can drop the silver to 6e, attacking the bishop, so bishop has to go back. And you see the knight's threat is gone. The silver is defending that square. So white can keep attacking by, say, pawn drop to 2h, for instance. And it looks like a good position for white. If dragon took it, maybe white can block the dragon, confining the dragon's ability. Well, I'm not sure. This is also a difficult position to evaluate. So I've shown you most of the moves that are possible, and really, there isn't enough material on this pawn to 6 variation, and it goes into a lot of kinds of positions where you can't be sure which player is better. But I hope this video has been useful. So that's all for this lesson. Take care and see you next time.